the higher and higher you climb in rank, the less and less problems that you're having. So basically, you're doing less and less things wrong, but you still need to fix the big issues. But it just means you don't have to fix as many issues as, let's say, a gold player or a silver player, because there are so many concepts that are missing. There are so many principles that they don't know about. Whereas when you start to get really diamond 4 and above, so like the top 3% of your region, it really does usually only come down to like 1 to 3 problems, particularly as an AD carry main. And it's usually your champion pool, your laning phase, and your consistency. And those are really the big 3 things that most Diamond 4 players struggle with. And that's how they hit that skill ceiling. And that's when generally players who are in the top 3%, they do need to do something. And generally the best solution for that is one-on-one coaching. So in today's profile review, we're going to be basically breaking down what this Diamond 4 AD carry needs to work on for the next 6 months in order to get to Masters as their goal rank. Now, before we get into this profile review, if you're interested in getting your own OP.GG review, just like the one we're about to watch, please check out the links in the description below and sign up for yours today. Let's get into the video. Hey Alexander, my name is Dylan from lawcoach.academy, and I'll be doing the profile review of your account today. So thank you for signing up, and let's get into it. So currently you're Diamond 4 with about 270 games played, 52% win rate. You're an AD carry main, and you've been one-tricking Aphelios. And I know that your goal is to try and get to like D1 Masters. And we might not be able to do that by the end of this split, which ends on July 17th. But I think as a long-term plan for like the end of this year, I think that's a really good goal to have. And hopefully we can get you there. So the 2 things I'm probably going to focus on today, because you are in like the top 2.63%. So there really is like the things you need to fix get narrower and narrower the higher you climb, as because you're basically perfecting a lot of the stuff on your own with your natural skill level. The 2 things I want to focus on are your champ pool and your laning phase, because I think these are 2 of the biggest things that you're struggling with at the moment from a confidence as well as from a statistics standpoint. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. So the first thing I see is that I think Aphelios, your Aphelios, is going to be one of your long-term keys to climbing, yet recently you've been feeling or, not performing as well on him. And to be honest, the reason you're climbing or not climbing, it's never going to be the champion itself. So it's always going to be how you play that champion and how good you are on that champion and how much you believe you're good on that champion. Because there's a one trick for every single champion in League of Legends at high ranks in Grandmasters, Masters, Challenger. And through nerfs, through buffs, they can always get pretty much the relatively same rank every single season. And that's because your champion mastery, your ability to understand and pilot and play a champion no matter what circumstance, is the most important factor when we're thinking about climbing in League of Legends, when we're thinking about our champion pool in League of Legends. So that's kind of the reason why, even though Aphelios will be getting nerfed next patch, I believe, I still think Aphelios can be a key to your climbing, but you may need to add another champion. And in that instance, I would say maybe something like your Kai'Sa could have a lot of potential. I think that could be a really, really good pick. I also think Jinx is not a bad pick, but you just haven't had much success on her. 23 games, 39% win rate. So it might not be the best one for you in terms of confidence. Now, for your kind of long-term climbing, and we're thinking about, trying to get to Masters or Diamond by the end of this season, what I would recommend is just make sure this account doesn't decay into Plat by the end of this season so you can continue that D4 rank. But I would actually maybe take a break from this account, get onto your Smurf and start mastering the new AD carries that you want to learn. Because I know you're pretty adamant that you do want to expand your champion pool beyond Aphelios. And so I think this is a perfect time while you're D4, 51 LP. This is the perfect time just before the split ends. There's about 4 weeks until the split ends. This is the perfect time to learn a new champion, or to really just dust up your skills on a new champ so you can play them at a Diamond 4 level, because that's what we need to do. So I'd recommend, if you don't have one already, get a second account, and you need to be smurfing on that, and you need to be focusing on learning new champions. I would suggest your Kai'Sa and your Jinx are the two champs you should focus on until the end of the split. And what I'd be aiming for is around 20 to 30 ranked games on each of them, or just one of them if you're just wanting to add one. And I would be trying to aim for like a 55 to 60% win rate. And if you can get a 55 to 60% win rate over 20 or 30 ranked games, then you can add them to your champion pool for your diamond account, which you're trying to get to D1 Masters. And then that's basically how you build your champion pool. You rinse and repeat that. And the 20 to 30 ranked games doesn't have to be the exact amount. What I would rather you focus on when deciding whether or not this champion I can bring to my main account, my climbing account that I want to get to Masters, what I want you to focus on there is, do you feel confident enough to play on that champion? Because statistics, win rates, and your actual performance are one thing, but your individual beliefs, mentality, and attitude towards your performance on a champion are another thing. And sometimes these aren't aligned. So what I would really prefer is, if it's going to take you longer, 40, 50 ranked games, to figure out, okay, I'm confident enough to play Kai'Sa in my ranked games on my main account, well then let's take our time and don't rush it. Because right now you're in the top 2.6% and the progress now becomes a lot slower, and it needs to be a lot more strategic, a lot smarter, and you need to really be thinking about every game really does count at this rank. So I would be splitting your gameplay up like that. So really, the only champ I would want to see you playing on your main account right now is Aphelios on this account, and then on your Smurf account, you're learning champs. Because you're playing enough games. You've already played, 270 games this season. That's more than enough for the second split next season to get to Diamond 1, to get to Masters. You could probably do it in 150, 200 games with a 55% win rate. So I'm not too worried about that. What I really want you to do is expand that champion pool if you aren't feeling confident on your Aphelios. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is your laning phase, because right now I can see that even though you're averaging like a 53.6% win rate over 194 games, your laning phase is the biggest issue that is currently stopping you from winning games and is holding back your improvement right now. So you're basically averaging around 700 gold deficits at 15 minutes over your last 200 ranked games as AD carry. And basically what that means is you're like more than 2 kills behind on average. So in terms of in-game improvements, you just need to fix this. You need to be dying less, you need to be managing waves better, and you need to be really actively thinking and stop going on autopiloting. Now, this is a profile review. I can't actually see your gameplay, so I can't make recommendations on you need to do this, you need to do that. If you are looking for that, that's when I recommend getting our Challenger AD Carry coach, Coach Saj, who runs our weekly boot camps. I would recommend booking in a session with him, because at this stage, when you're D4 and you've got this kind of deficit, I can't give you general advice. You need someone to review your gameplay and pinpoint exactly what you're doing wrong, because this is a big issue. And until you fix this, we're not really going to be able to climb much higher than like D4 or D3 if you're lucky. And so this is really the biggest focus point that you need to think about for the next 3 to 6 months, is getting this goal difference up to around plus 300. And yes, some champions are weaker than others. So Jinx, for example, can have a weak laning phase, but there is no excuse to be behind 700 gold. I could see maybe, behind 100 gold or 50 gold, maybe even 150 gold, but anything more than like 200 gold deficit, you are doing something wrong on that champion, and that needs to be your biggest focus area. So profile reviews on Diamond and Plat accounts can be tough sometimes, because it's really hard at this stage. You really do need that kind of one-on-one game review experience. So if you are interested in learning more about that, you can wait until one of our weekly bootcamp sessions where we do VOD reviews for our members. You can wait till then, or you can actually book a one-on-one session. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. But yeah, the biggest two things we've got to figure out for you over the next year, or until the end of the year, I should say, is your champion pool, splitting your games between your main account and then your like Smurf account, so you can learn new champions, you can build your champion pool, and then fixing your laning phase. So I hope you enjoyed the profile review. I know we just talked about 2 topics, but if you can honestly fix those 2 things, you'll be able to get to D1 or Masters. And that's the beauty of being a Diamond player, is your problems are now a lot narrower than, let's say, a Gold player or a Silver player. So it's good and bad. But yeah, hope you enjoy the profile review, and please, once you've watched this, reach out to me and we can talk about next steps, what you're thinking, ask me any questions, and we can talk about if you are looking for more personalized coaching, we can start building you a personalized coaching plan that can work for your goals, your champion pool, and the biggest issues holding you back from climbing. Thanks.